we have for you on your screen just a little bit of a rundown of the Bears' early picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. You see them at 10, 39, 41, and 72. So let's have a little discussion with someone who knows the college game better than anyone. We are thrilled to be joined by former Michigan tight end Jake Butt. Of course, you know him from the big college football show right here on CHSN. Jake, thanks for being with us.
Of course, it's great
Happy
to
have
see
you.
guys.
Go
Absolutely.
Blue.
Go Blue.
Per usual. We'll spare you by singing the
Thank
Michigan
you.
fight song.
Yeah. Hail to the victors.
Hail to the victors. Thank you for that.
That's good enough for us.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Jake, assuming the Bears stay at number 10, is there a name that jumps out at you as that's a guy that should be there on the Chicago Bears?
It's really going to be the best offensive lineman available, and I'm looking at a few names at the tackles position specifically. And I look at, the Eagles. They win the Super Bowl. How'd they do it? It was through the trenches, through dominant offensive line play. Ben Johnson comes over from Detroit. What was their success built on? Dominant offensive line play, the ability to run the ball. So obviously the Bears, we know all the stats, how much Caleb Williams was hit. They have to go offensive linemen. Two names stick out with me. Will Campbell, tackle from LSU. Kelvin Banks, tackle from Texas. The question is will those two tackles be on the board? It depends on some defensive names, some quarterback names. If either is on the board, you take those two tackles right there. Both experienced guys that I think are plug and play day one NFL starters. There's a chance they're not, and that's where I like the name Tyler Booker coming out of Alabama. 350 pounds, a road grader in the run game. But what I like about all three of these guys in doing my research with them, what jumped out with Tyler Booker, for example, his leadership, his commitment to his work ethic, his commitment to his teammates in the locker room. One underrated piece that I think Ben Johnson was exposed to with the Lions being able to turn around their organization was culture in drafting the right type of player. The Chicago Bears need to draft players that love football, that understand what it means to be a Chicago Bear. I look at these guys in the history of their college careers, all three guys represent the type of character that I think the Bears are going to want to select.
If you're a guard and you go 10, you better be Quentin Nelson quality. You better be a guy that is a plug and play, not only plug and play, but plug, play, and dominate, because that's a position that's not really a premium position. Things are changing a little bit in the NFL, but of the two tackles, Campbell and Banks, are they both left tackles? Could one play the right side, or would they have to, because the Bears have a right tackle, but they have Braxton Jones on the left side, who probably, after he recovers, is more of a swing tackle type.
Yes, both will be left tackles. Now, Will Campbell, part of the reason he could slip, some people are concerned about his arm length. I don't buy into that, like some magic number.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, I'll tell you a story. I got short arms. I got like 32-inch arms. And I remember the Packers came and they measured my arm. And rather than write down, the guy just shook his head and said, oh, that's not going to be good enough.
In front of you.
Right in front of me. Because
I'm still here.
When I'm blocking Von Miller at practice, Von Miller has long arms. If my arms are short, I couldn't even reach out and touch him. Obviously, that's going to be a problem. If you're going to be a franchise left tackle, you have to have the length and the ability to hem up defensive linemen. So there is some concern with Will Campbell. I don't see that on tape. I see a guy that's extremely fundamentally sound, a little bit high at times, but I've seen a ton of mock drafts and NFL scouts project moving him inside. I'm fine drafting him because of his film and his experience keeping him at left tackle.
Is there an offensive lineman that may not get drafted high, but you see could maybe be a sneaky good pick for the Bears if they do decide to take more later?
Yeah, so a guy that Donovan Jackson is a guy I'm looking at from Ohio State, where I've seen him mocked day 2. I've seen him mocked day 3. Another interior guy, but he bumped out and played left tackle for Ohio State this year. I spoke to him on the national title run, a highly intelligent player. I like the fact that he was willing and then able to go out and play tackle. Again, a selfless type player that I think the Bears would benefit from. Another one is Seth McLaughlin. Tore his Achilles late in the season, so probably going to slip a little bit in the draft. Played center for Ohio State, but could play really either interior spot. I think because of that injury, if he slips and falls in the lap of the Bears later, maybe the 4th, 5th round, you get great value. And then Connor Colby, another lineman from Iowa, has played both guard positions, center, played left tackle as well, right tackle as well. So position versatility, he'd be an interior guy for the Bears to look out for later in the draft.
Hypothetically, if the Bears move down, trade down from 10, and they're sitting there 20-ish tight ends. There are 2 tight ends that are first-round candidates, right? Tyler Warren and Loveland.
We love tight ends on this show.
We love tight ends. We love Michigan tight ends even more. And what about the Bears? Is there a dilemma? Brock Bowers will make somebody want to draft one of those two guys in the first round?
Brock Bowers is in a league of his own. I thought that guy had a chance to be Hall of Fame potential even before last year's draft. And I like Tyler Warren, I like Colston Loveland, but even as a tight end myself, I love tight ends too. I would not, if I'm the Chicago Bears, you have much bigger needs. Drafting a tight end in the first round is a luxury unless it's a guarantee like Brock Bowers. I love both of these guys. If I'm the Chicago Bears, I would not draft either of them in the first round. I would stick with the trenches.
I agree with that. Is that a reach for any team in the first round with those two guys, probably in the 20s?
In the 20s, you know, when you're a team that's a playoff team that maybe doesn't have any glaring holes, these are two good football players. You know, these two guys are going to improve either team that they're on. The Bears, though, are just not in that position. When you need to improve your trenches, you draft there. You don't draft the tight end.
Bears obviously have Cole Kmet, the rest of the room kind of up in the air. Is those two guys, would you draw parallels to Cole Kmet? Even, I know they may not be on the Bears, but would you say that they're similar players to him?
I think Tyler Warren and Kmet, those two guys remind me of each other. A little bit bigger bodies. Tyler Warren's like 260 pounds. I like Kmet as a prospect. I just think, you know, he was hurt by all the outside problems with the Bears. You know, I didn't think he got the necessary amount of targets. How often did he have to stay in and ship to help the offensive lineman? When he was targeted, he showed great production. I think he's going to benefit from Ben Johnson. Colston Loveland is a little bit different, he's more of a receiver. I look at him like a Travis Kelce, a guy that can line up in the slot and show a full route tree. So each guy's, even though they're both great players, different and unique prospects.